environmental management and has 15 years university faculty experience, leveraging technology and collective competencies of members. Dr. Odi leads OAAD Global in presenting an organized front for Africa knowledge economy expansion, innovation funding strategy, collation and amplification of collective competitive advantages, strengthen collective bargaining power and highlighting gaps Africa and African talents can fill while providing top-notch support for Africans and non-Africans who seek multi-sectoral portfolio of opportunities Africa presents in emerging world of artificial intelligence. So he's a renowned scholar and he is an academic and he is a mentor for those of us who are familiar with OAD and its work, and for those of us who have been privileged to get in touch with Mr. Odi or have known Mr. Odi by reputation, we know that as a man with an outstanding background. I can go on and on trying to introduce him, but he's a respectable and renowned scholar, and we are very, very pleased as a union to have him to lead the second season of this 2 days online training for Sierra Leonean students here in China. So let us prepare our mind and be opened up to and knowledge. And most importantly, for those of us that have questions, let us be very courageous to ask those questions. I believe by the end of this training, we would have gained an hands-on experience that will be beneficial in our various fields. So without wasting more time, I would like to welcome Dr. Odi. Dr. Odi, you're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. I'm very much excited to be part of the meeting today. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, my neighbors, wherever you're joining from around the world. I hope I can be heard very clearly. Can I be heard clearly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Great.
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Beautiful. I'm excited to be.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. So I'm very happy to be part of this meeting today, and I want to thank the organizers for asking me to share some brief experience today on this matter, the topic of after you're done writing. It was a beautiful job our brother Dr. Mansour did yesterday. But after all that is done, it is not complete if you do all that work and you are unable to publish it at the end of the day. So coming here today is for us to rub minds together on what happens next after the publication or after the writing, after putting all the structures in place, as he guided us yesterday and as we all discussed. What happens next? That's extremely important, and that's what we're focusing on today. It's also my joy to have made contact with the Sierra Leone Student Union in China and the various leaders. I want to thank them for the great work they are doing, guiding the community. It's not easy. Everybody has one need or another, one problem or another. But when people are able to pay attention to not only their own problems, but also caring about other people's problems, it's something extraordinary, and it's worthy of comment. It's worthy of note. So I want to thank the leadership of Sierra Leone Students Union in China. I had chats with Kadiatu, with John, and I think the president. I don't remember the name. What's her name, please? The name of the president. I forgot that I don't know if I've chatted with her. John, what's her name?
Madam Josephine Williams.
Okay.
President Josephine Williams.
Okay. Great. Yeah, so thanks to her also for providing leadership within the leadership structure of Sierra Leone Student Union in China. And we are all Africans, we're together. And our reason for coming together today is to ensure that we keep succeeding. There are several people in different areas who have been working together to survive together, to do their publications together, collaborate, and achieve great results. And that's what we're looking forward to seeing for the experts in different fields within SLSUC. We are hoping that within 1 year of this training, we should hear of many collaborative research outputs that have been produced by you all working together for the colleagues in different fields. So thank you so much once again for this. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, my neighbors, we'll move right into the topic for today. I'll share my screen right away and we go get that running. So I would just like to ask, as we move to the next step, please in the chat box, if you have published one paper in a peer-reviewed journal, please can you type 1? If you've published 2, type 2. If you published 3, type 3. If you've published none, proudly type 0. And that will just be good. So please, can we do that right away? How many have you published? Yes, just type in the chat box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, Cheno has published 6. Suleiman, Galaxy Notes has published 0. iPhone has published 2. Alpha Yaya has published 1. Congratulations. I'm excited. Yes, please, let's keep it going. Kwesi, 0. Sylvia. Okay, Sylvia has put her, Mariam put email address. Okay, May, 0. Sylvia, 0. Congratulations. You've got 0, but after today, you're going to definitely have more than 0 because you're getting the tools you require. Idrissa Koroma published 3. Congratulations. Alfred Sandiga, 1. Macau, 1. Lukman, Macau, 0. Lukman, 1. Good job. Yes, I'm excited to see that we have people who have experience in different, who have gone through the full cycle of writing and publishing, getting to be involved in putting out their work, contributing their knowledge towards filling of gaps in various research sectors and fields. So I'm really excited to be with you all. And all these people, John Albert has published 1. Good. Yes, so I think a good number of us have the experience in what we're going to talk about today. But of course, nobody ever has all the experience. The more you publish, the more you learn, the better you become at it, the more experienced you become in it. And so I'm really excited to see the inputs being thrown in. So with that, we will be focusing today on choosing the right journal for a scientific paper. After you've written, after you've put all the structures, how do you decide which journal is the best for you to look towards in terms of publishing your research? And we are taking it right away to see the cycle, how it goes. So the right journal, for you to be able to select the right journal, it means that that journal is suitable for the publication, is suitable for the message you want to communicate. So the manuscript is right there. And the best way to go about it is to consider the right journal early. Many people have had to almost redo a whole manuscript because they took so much time writing just generally without making any specific allusion or paying specific attention to specific journal requirements. So they finish doing their research and finish writing up, and they are struggling looking for where to publish it. Where is the right journal? Usually it's still not too late even when that happens, because of course there is nothing ever really too late. You can always find your way around any tight corner. But in order to avoid putting yourself in a tight corner, the best thing to do is that before you even choose the topic to write on, before you identify the place you want to look into, the challenge you want to look into, of course, through your literature review, you'll be able to identify your gaps in literature. So actually where you find your gaps from, what you find in specific journals could also be indication of where you should consider publishing, because it implies that the readership of such topic is found in that journal. But assuming you do not start early and you finished, there are also provisions in different journals for different journals that can allow you to still choose the right journal. But the best path to follow is to engage with the journal and follow the author pack that you would download and go on with it, confirm what their writing style is, the word count, the reference format, and all such things. Of course, also in this generation of technology, it's now easy that no matter what the reference style you have used, you can always convert it to any other style if you use a reference manager like Mendeley or Zotero or other reference management like EndNote, reference management systems. You can use several of those. It's extremely important to have access to those. This training route or round does not include that, but I think that could be another good training arrangement that your leadership will consider exploring and finding relevant experts that can bring you content on that in terms of bringing you information on relevant reference management tools to be used, because that takes care of the problems of inserting references to ensure that you don't, and also that if you end up writing before finding the journal and you find that the journal that is suitable or you thought was suitable is not suitable and you want to go to a different journal, it will not be like you're going to repeat the whole process of reference insertion. So for you to be able to do this, it's extremely important to match the paper's message with the journal's readership. What makes any paper to be successful is that there are people to read it, and when they read it, they are likely going to cite it. And that's why you find that in journals or in journal metrics, you find things like the number of reads. You could find that on ResearchGate, Web of Science, and other platforms, other reference management platforms. So you find all those in those areas, and you are able to engage them based on the readership. So if you have wide readership, you're likely going to have wide citation. And if you have good citations, citation represent the income. Citation is the currency in the world of academia. If you have good citations, there are so many things you can access. For early career researchers, especially Africans, and early career researchers in low and middle income countries, in developing countries who are often interested in traveling to other developed countries to do research, the number of your citations will, to a great extent, determine whether you get to be accepted in a particular country. For example, to apply for green card in the US, it's required that you may have at least about 100 citations in your research. So when you find many people Of course, the more the number of papers you have, the more likely it is for you to have more citations. But also, you can do a really good work. It could be a seminal work that would allow you have many citations. There's a work we published some years ago, which now has over 200 citations, just one work. And that's in the field of microplastics under our OAD microplastic research group. It now has over 200 citations. Another one we also published has over 500 citations. And some of those who were part of co-authoring that work now are really, really good to go. Anything they want to do in their research field, the citations they have in that paper alone is sufficient to push them to anywhere they want to go. And of course, in OAD, we've been able to facilitate signing recommendations for those green card applications for over 200 people. And we're facilitating even more and looking forward to having African talents get what they're looking for. But of course, we do emphasize, wherever you're going to, never forget where you come from. Never forget your home. Never forget your village. Keep your village at heart. Wherever you're going to, keep your village at heart. Look for opportunities when you go to those places. When you're on research groups or on WeChat group, WhatsApp group, do not look for only opportunities that benefit you or opportunities that are of interest to you. Look for opportunities also thinking about people in your village, particularly. I think everybody in Africa has a village. And if your town or your place has outgrown and there's no longer a village around there, you can still call it your village or you can call it your community. So think about people in your community, whatever opportunities you are seeing around, because you being out there in the global space. Anyway, this is a talk for another day. So consider general versus specialty audience. Different journals have those requirements. It could be general journals that are multidisciplinary journals, or it could be extremely specific fields, or it could be talking about journals that focus on global content or local content. All those are feasible. And of course, recent journal issues, look at it very clearly, because it will help you to avoid repeating titles that may have been written just recently. In a way, just the title of your work could decide whether a reviewer or editor or associate editor in a journal could decide whether they could look into your work or not. In fact, talking about the title, how to title a work is a whole webinar on its own, or is a whole textbook on its own. How to write the title of a work, or how to write the abstract of a work, and all those things. But this is some kind of a comprehensive thing we're doing during this period, and subsequently, we hope that you will learn from other people and on these specific areas. But of course, we also emphasize, do not be carried away with research. It's not the real deal. There are bigger things that need to be done beyond research. So choose based on intended message. I've mentioned that, and all these things here. Think about, look at the author pack. There's usually what they call an author pack. It's usually maybe a PDF document or a page on the website of a particular journal. You can see what is required in those different, for different things related to the publication, the scope, what they publish on, the cycle, and how all of those things go. So the peer review and acceptance. It could also be peer review and rejection, but we really love good news, so we just put acceptance here. But later on, you will see that there's also possibility of rejection. So you see, the peer-reviewed system is a very complicated one, but the purpose of it is to enhance credibility of work. It's all about just finding other people who are doing research in similar field, and sending them what you've written for them to check it, for them to cross-check it and confirm after the editors have done the initials of checking similarity index using several similarity index tools, which is something you should do after your writing. Don't just finish writing and submit. You need to check the similarity index so that you don't get disgraced or get if what you've written is so similar to what other people have written. And in this generation of AI, I also want to warn us, please do not write your paper fully with AI. You can make structures with AI, you can build some content, but always be sure to edit it and make it your paper. It's very important. Many journals now have tools they use to detect excessive AI inputs, and you may be red flagged, and that's not good for your career. So avoid journals also that bypass thorough peer reviews. If you reach out to a journal and submit, and they tell you we are very good at publishing, if you submit your work today, we're going to publish it next week, all you just have to do is pay the article processing charge. That's already red flag for you. It's not a good place for you to publish your work. That's definitely a predatory journal. Every journal that cares about academic excellence, academic integrity will go through very thorough peer review system. So please pay attention to this. Do not say, wow, I'm really lucky. This journal, they say they're going to publish my work in a very short time. Why is it that the other person told me that some works take 6 months or take 1 week, take 1 year? It could be they don't know how to write. I may have written so well, so this journal just said, okay, we're going to publish it in 1 week. That's red flag. That's not good news. That's not something you should be happy about. It's not in your interest when you get such signal. It's not in your interest. Don't accept it. Don't be happy. So you need to pay attention to that. So acceptance rates vary by article. Article type, it could be case reports, it could be reviews, it could be original articles. Many journals would prefer original articles because it usually has higher level of originality than review works. And that's why when they explore similarity index, they allow higher similarity for review articles than for original articles. So usually for reviews, they could accept 19%, 20% is already going high. But if you can target between 10 to 20%, you can be sure that you are in good hands or in safe hands. That's especially for reviews. Also, when you're doing original work, you could even have very low similarity index as low as 5%. One of my earliest works had really low similarity index. It was original work and it was beautiful. So let's look at indexing and impact factor. This is very important because it helps us to know the extent to which your work will fly. Journals that have high impact factor usually means that there are more people reading it. There'll be more citations. There are more citations. That's what that implies. And it means that the work is more useful. It's contributing to the conversation in the field. Now, take note of this. Every research work you're publishing, think of it as an ongoing conversation. Think of it like a WeChat group or a WhatsApp group where there are many people participating in a conversation. So you are just one of the people in your field and you are watching what other people are typing. Each person will type and send. Another person will type and send. Let's say there are 100 people in the group and there's, they agree we're going to have a meeting. And this meeting is going to be a textual meeting. Everybody just type, respond to what other people are doing. Or you may be part of a group, a WeChat group where people chat a lot. I am on one group where each day more than 1,000 messages get to be typed. Of course, I rarely type any message there. Why I'm on that group is because I like to send OAD trainings across many groups. Everything we're doing, I like to spread it across many groups. So I would implore you and seek your indulgence, make a request that if you're on any group and you find that I'm not there, and you think the group makes sense and that people there will like what we'll do, please invite me there. If it is not a national group, if it's not a group that's for only Sierra Leoneans, if it's an open group, please invite me there. I like posting what we're doing. And of course, the reason is very clear. The more the places, statistically speaking, the more exposure, the more likely it is for more people to benefit from it. So you think about them, indexed journals, think about Web of Science, think about PubMed, think about Scopus. Web of Science is almost the most respected and also most comprehensive. The Science Citation Index, SCI, SSCI, the Social Science Citation Index, which are all a part of the Web of Science collection. So this is very important. You need to check when you are selecting a journal, check whether it has impact factor. Ask questions about what is the impact factor of the journal. When you see a particular journal and you want to consider it, ask what's the impact factor of so journal. Type it in and see what it is. If it has high impact factor, there are two things you need to know. It's going to be difficult to publish there. Even when you've written very good work, it's usually tough to publish in journals that have high impact factor. I think my second publication was published in a journal that had about 6, impact factor of 6. That's Science of the Total Environment. Now its impact factor is about 8 or 10 or so. I'm not exactly sure anymore. So the beautiful thing about this is that it helps your work to spread, and it means that it can get you what you're looking for. Previously, I talked about the fact that it can help you get what you're looking for. For example, when you want to apply for a green card in the US or in China, if you want to apply for green card in the US or China, you need to have, or even if you want to apply for a green card in China, or you want to apply for some type of residency, maybe talent visa and things like that, you need a certain number of citations, a certain number of papers. And if you are the first author in the paper, it matters, or you are the corresponding author in the paper. This can help you after graduation. If you don't want to go back home immediately, you can hang around and then plan yourself and put some structures in place, so that you can, you can drive in the direction you really want to drive. Also, you can, another thing that can happen when you publish in journals that have good impact factor, which implies that you have many citations. Another benefit you get is that it helps you to be able to apply for grants. You can get a lot of money from the grants, by applying for grants. When you apply for grants and you have many citations, you'll be able to get it more easily. So do not just publish for the sake of publishing. Do thorough work that can allow you get good citations. I'm not really, when our brother John was reading the introduction, I think I'm not really paying so much attention to research these days. I'm paying more attention to OAD, but he read like that great scholar. I only have over 500 or about close to 600 citations. That's not what I should have at this time, but because I'm not necessarily paying attention to research for some time, but that's also by choice, because I'm pursuing something else that is more than citations, which hopefully there will be another time when we're going to talk about the other things that I consider more important than citations, because I see many highly talented people, high-end talents, highly competent, poor people. but we want to do something about it. It shouldn't continue that way. We must build intergenerational wealth for our people, whether it's in the research sector or in industry and all of that. Everywhere you are, we want to be able to do that. So, like you also see in this, it's preferred that you should have, for a promotion for those who are in academia, you need it for visibility. Also, when you are visible in your research, you could be invited to talk, to present speeches or to provide trainings, and you could be paid very huge monies. Within the community here, we don't charge for these things we're doing, but what we're doing today, which we are, and yesterday, and which we keep doing, these things cost thousands of dollars. And but we're happy to provide these trainings for ourselves, because our focus is to see our fellow African talents become highly placed in their research fields and do great things in those places. We want to see you drive innovation in your space, and want to see you do things beyond research, which we'll talk about another time. So different models of publishing. There's open access, there's closed access. Open access journals mean that journal, from the moment you publish it, people are able to see it and are able to download the full paper and are able to read it. For you to be able to publish in such a journal, it means that you need to pay for it. Payment for it could come from your institution, or it could come from your personal pocket, but it's not a good thing to pay for journal publication from your personal pocket. But depending on your interest, depending on what you're looking for, if you've done a real good job and you want a good number of people to see it as quickly as possible, if you have the money, you can work towards putting the money in place and publish in open access journal. But if you've done a good work also and you don't have the money, the funding, because usually these are huge expense endeavors. Many good journals will publish for $2,000, $2,000, €3,000, €5,000, and more, even 10,000. I've seen some for 10,000. Because of the impact that it could have if people publish in those places. Institutions often provide opportunity for people who publish in those places to provide them funding for them to be able to do that. It boosts you, it makes you go really fast, but it's expensive. But if you can apply for funding for the research you're doing, you are actually able to get article processing charge funding from different entities. In the years ahead, OAD Global will also be providing funding for article processing charges and supporting our people to publish speedily. Also, there are journals that publish online journals. It helps your work to become available to a large number of people on the internet immediately, within a short time. There are also those that do print, but of course, it's becoming rarer and rarer over the years. Fewer and fewer people are thinking of printing. Printing journal articles, but some people still print, and sometimes just for the keeps. So, but these are different publishing styles: open access, closed access. There's also hybrid publishing. There's hybrid publishing, which let me put that there. So there's open access, there is closed access, there is hybrid, which you can choose from depending on what you have to do. But in every case, you decide what you think is suitable for the work you have done. And you follow it in that way, based on what you have seen on ground already. So it's my joy to be able to talk about this particular aspect, because if a good number of us understand how we can facilitate our own publishing in open access by applying for funds, which is something different, is a whole different kind of training that also gets done, grant application, for different fields and different areas. So publication costs, publication fees and costs. So some journals charge submission fee, review fee, or a publication fee. And sometimes they call it article processing charge as an umbrella name, and they give an amount, like I mentioned already. So also, if you come from certain countries or you are a student, for research that has not benefited from funding, you can actually apply for waivers from journals. When you're submitting, you apply for waiver and let them know, I come from a low middle income country. All African countries are part of low and middle income countries. So you can always apply for waivers, but it's not always sure that they will grant the waivers, but you can always do that. There's no harm in trying. So factor publication fees when you are selecting journals. Do not select a journal and spend all your time modeling your work after that journal, only for you to finish. And they tell you, we do not publish closed access. Closed access means that they will lock it up. When they finish publishing it, they will lock it up for sometimes 2 years, 48 months or 24 months, sometimes more than that. Before they make it open, and people can download it after that time. Doing the open access is really good. Closed access is also good. I published mine closed access, but we still get a lot of citations. For one paper, just over 200 citations. So it also depends on the quality of the work you've done. If you don't have money, do a good work. If you have money, do a good work and publish it in an open access journal. If you don't have money, do a good work and publish it in closed access journal or hybrid journal, as the case may be. But always start from the beginning to think about it. So journal administration and transparency, it's really important. So author-friendly journals offer prompt communication. When you are trying to publish with a journal and they are not replying, they are delaying for a long time, it is not a good sign. And it could be so frustrating. We don't want to hear of journals that produce bitter bile and pour into the hearts of our people because they delay in responding. We want to be able to see journals that are able to allow things. We've also seen research articles that talk about the fact that for Africans, there seem to be, when you have an African name, there seems to be some kind of segregation against Africans. One of our brothers, Edmond Sanganyado from Zimbabwe, Professor Edmond is now in the UK. I remember one of the trainings he administered where he shared a story about how they submitted a work and his name was the first on the list, and the work had many difficulties. But when they did some review and there was nothing changed, after they sent it back, they just moved one other senior professor to the front, and the work sailed through. They published it. So there are some of these things that are real that are not so fair. So in the publishing system, because of course those who are handling it are human beings, and human beings often have problems that they cannot be trusted in many things. But in anything you're doing in life, we encourage our people to practice the principles of fairness, integrity, respect, sacrifice, and transparency. This is what we call the first principles of engagement. When you become a reviewer, do not look at yourself like going to be, because reviewers are also, this is also a different kind of training on the art of reviewing, science and art of reviewing. But when you become a reviewer, make sure that you are fair and ensure transparency in your process of review, so that you don't make life difficult for young people who are trying to advance their lives. Of course, it doesn't mean you should not do a good review, Do a thorough review, point out all the errors, but be gentle with it. Do not sound so tough. Some reviewers write as if they are fighting with the with the author and co-authors. So we maybe sometimes they have other problems in their lives, or because of course everybody is a human being, and many things do influence, according to research, many things do influence the outcomes of reviews. So also, if you are a person who believes in faith or has some kind of belief, you may consider also adding something beyond hard work to your research. Because if your work gets to somebody when he is frustrated, or maybe the husband or the wife has just made him angry, and he stands up from managing the situation and goes to review your work, you can imagine that there will be big trouble. Or they're trying to review your work, and their children are running around and disturbing them, not allowing them to do what they are supposed to do. So visibility matters, access matters, and so consider all these things. And how do you? I want to ask a question. I talked about something that can help you identify a potential, a journal that has potential visibility, large visibility. You can type in the chat what can enhance visibility of a work. If you also want to talk, you can use your emoji factor, your emoji, your hand raised emoji to talk to us. What are the things that can enhance visibility of a work? Type in the chat box, or do your hand raise thing and let us know. Anybody? Can we do that quickly? Let's throw it in. How do you enhance visibility of your work? What will you do that can ensure that many people will see your work? Or what kind of journals allow your work to be more visible? What can a journal have that will make your work to be more visible? Anybody want to talk or type a message? Oh, can you all still hear me?
Yeah, Doc, we're getting you loud and clear.
Oh, great. Now I have just set an exam. Please write your exam now quickly before we conclude. Impact factor, yes. Ibrahim Ahmed Kanu, SDUST said impact factor. You just scored 100%. Anybody else want to type another one? You have passed. You are promoted to the next class. Open Access Journal. I cannot read this name, is in Chinese. Please, can you help us? Kampudong. Or Kampudong Nida Mingzi. Please, what's the name of the person who? Okay, is that okay? Yasi. Okay, Yasi. Is that the way to write Yasi? Okay, indexing. Lucas K. Kanu has said indexing. That's 100% also. You just passed. You are promoted to the next class. You are now a professor. Professor of academic publishing. Okay. Indexing, beautiful. These are the beautiful things. So these are very, index-based thing that can, okay, publishing together with a good professor that is known. That's also a very good one. Academic network, collaboration, beautiful. Hybrid access journals, very beautiful. Now you have all passed. You're all doing really well. Somebody want to talk? Somebody want to talk? I could hear some voice. You're all doing so well. Beautiful. Somebody has just said the journal must have a highlight of DOIs, digital. Now let me ask, okay, digital object identification. Let me not set another exam. But that's what DOI is. The meaning of DOI is digital object identification. It's used for identifying a particular work. It's unique for every work. So now, since you have all passed this exam, I don't need to say anything more. on this slide, but that's what this slide is all about: visibility and the things that can help us, facilitate access to our work. So this is acre. So how many acres of land have you planted your products on, or your agricultural products? So A is acceptance. Even though it is not, even though C does not come next, but that's the abbreviation we've used for this. So please, it's not a mistake. It is an intentional thing chosen for this. So acre, acceptance. If you've done your work well, and it has been done according to what you find in the author pack, it has been done according to, you've intentionally ensured that let me take your mind back to what we did yesterday. You were able to identify a clear gap. That means that you are on the WhatsApp group of your discipline. Let me get typing. Please, can you type your discipline in the chat box? Please, can you type your disciplines? What are your disciplines, or your research area, your research field? And I'm just going to make this illustration with what I'm going to be seeing. So let's throw them in. What are your disciplines? Your disciplines, your research field. I'm waiting for them to rain. Let it rain in the chat box. Let's do it again, quickly. I think everybody's there's no wrong or right answer in this examination. So agriculture with major in crop genetics and breeding. Yeah, that's for Alpha Umaru, Barry Alpha Umaru, BAU. Ibrahim Ahmed Kanu, BAK, mining engineering, slope stability. Beautiful. Your research field, your discipline, please, let's keep throwing it in. I'm just going to begin to use the two I have already seen. Beautiful. Let's throw them in. Umar Imran Mansour is in agricultural engineering, agric information, and intelligent control. Beautiful things. You see the beautiful things our people are doing. In fact, if only the people in this training right now are able to put together all they are doing in these different fields. Please keep it coming. International development, John Albert Sanko. If what all our people, these people right now in this training, if we collect the energy we can generate and we are intentional about it, we are able to use the heat that comes from it to transform the whole of our continent, not just Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone is just one small country out of all the small countries in Africa, the 54 countries. So if we put together, look at software engineering, look at energy optimization in building, look at environmental engineering, Sponge City. Wow, I don't know many people. Alfred Santigue, Toure, Babalola Kezi, and Charles Alusin, Bangura. These are beautiful things. So logistic management, logistic engineering and management for Alpha. Now, the truth is that all these, you must look at all these, your disciplines. Let's keep it coming. Business administration, Franklin. All these, your disciplines are like WeChat groups or WhatsApp groups. And all of you there are writing and posting. So every time you publish, it's like you have just typed a message and sent on the WeChat group of your discipline. But the only difference is that this type of writing, you could spend 3 months collecting data for it, preparing what you're going to type on a WeChat group. Imagine if you have to spend 3 months collecting data for what you're going to type on WeChat group, and another person is also doing their own in different places. And after collecting the data, you need to structure it and write. You need to make sure it is filling a particular gap. You need to make sure it is. So now, all these WeChat groups, there are things, there's kind of a finite or infinite content of what should be contained in it, but it all depends on human needs. All our research are built around human needs. Let's keep it coming. If you have not thrown in your discipline, please throw in your discipline. Yes, RC has put in his own new energy system and analysis. Look at all the problems of Africa can be solved by everybody here right now. all the Luciana is international affairs and public policies. Franklin Mohammed Toure is business administration. If we put all these things together, Sylvia is comparative education. Makar is logistics. All these things can solve all the problems of Africa. And that's what we are also doing as we're coming together and building trust and working together amongst ourselves. In the years ahead, we'll also keep working together. We'll make money together. We'll live life together. We'll build the future together. We will develop a country. Sierra Leone and Sierra Leoneans will be people that will be able to have high-level dignity everywhere they go to. You take your passport anywhere, you won't face extraordinary scrutiny as we currently do. All these things can also be facilitated through our research output and how we perform in the world, because research is the foundation of all things. And subsequently, after research, then innovation funding, then products development, global scale marketing, then money begins to flow in, and everything is just beautiful. But it is possible that you have done everything right and your work will get accepted, or you've done everything you know, but the work gets to be rejected. It's a very painful thing. Sometimes after 1 year, a work gets to be rejected. And one is asking, how didn't they just let me know early enough that they're not going to publish this thing so that I don't need to punish myself and suffer, for all this time? And correction after the work returns. Sometimes the work returns and they tell you, okay, correct this, and resubmit. So resubmission, you will know that you're resubmitting it. And sometimes the reviewers may want to see whether you have followed the corrections they recommended. So all these things get to be important. And this is the conclusion of everything we have been talking about. This is the conclusion. It's like someone is talking.
And everything it gets up.
Can you find the person who is talking and mute the person? Thank you. So in conclusion, my neighbors, after you have done all you're supposed to do, choose the right journal by first aligning the manuscript structure from the start. I also want to mention that each journal or each publisher, for example, Elsevier has, assuming you finished all the work and you didn't prepare yourself, Elsevier has a compendium of several journals. So you could check Journal Finder. You could just type in Journal Finder, or you could drop elsevier.journalfinder.com or something like that. Or you could just type Journal Finder in your search engine. So if you type in your, if you type in Journal Finder, you will be able to, it will provide you a place where you copy and paste your abstract. If you copy and paste your abstract there, it will give you a list of potential journals that you should consider. And you can look into that and see the possibility of, the various journals, because it will show you this journal is there, it will recommend journals you could submit to, assuming you finished and you did not consider all these steps. So, so make sure you match the content. I'm reminding us what we already said, to the journal scope and audience. Then consider review speed. Many people want to write so they could graduate, whether for master's or for PhD. So you don't want a journal that is going to, before you select a journal, check. There's usually average time that is considered from first submission to first response, and then from first response to review process, the review cycle to return of the review, and all those stages have their timing. And so if you consider that at the point of selecting journal, you'll be able to avoid some of the challenges that do come when people are not so sure of what they, where they should publish and things of that nature. So my neighbors, I want to thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for listening. It's been a very good experience sharing thoughts, and I'll be happy to take questions right now if if that's what the moderator would want. So please, I want to hand over back to our brother John. Over to you right now. Thank you very much again, everyone, for listening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ode. That was a beautiful presentation. Obviously, we're going to have a question and answer session, so just stay on for the questions. Please, let's do it smoothly. If you have questions to ask, then I would prefer you do that with a show of hand, okay? And before I start admitting questions, I have a question myself. And by the time you're rounding up, I was thinking about it. So you're talking about the different timeline of the journal. And I've been noticing it myself when going through the websites of journal. Some journal will tell you for first and what is it again?
From first submission to response.
Yeah, first response. Yeah, that is what I was looking for. Maybe first response within 10 days a week or so. So what if a journal have given you a first response and it has been tentatively accepted, and perhaps you have some correction to do along the line, though we know it's a process that might last for 3 months or 6 months or so. Is there any possibility after a first response being accepted, then along the line being denied or rejected?
Let me start by saying that first response will never say whether it's accepted or rejected. Anyway, yeah, it's possible that first response will tell you the work is not within our scope, or it has been admitted for review. Those are the two possible responses. So it's either this, or a third one could be they tell you it is not appropriate, do so changes and submit it again. For example, if you have written the work without following their referencing style, they will send it back to you almost immediately, because that usually is done by the editorial office, not necessarily the reviewers or the editor-in-chief or the associate editor or the commission editor responsible for that particular paper. So, but assuming you're meaning after review, let me ask you, do you mean after review, after the review is done? Or you mean just at the beginning?
Yeah, you can go for that to elaborate anyway. Maybe
Okay.
in the case of after review as well.
Okay. So if it's at the beginning, there are maybe 3 basic responses they can give. One is, we are sorry, your work does not align with our work, with our journal, or the quality of the work is not fully suitable, or they would say it's not aligned with our journal's readership. These are the kind of basic things they would say, and they would also possibly advise you, because they want to hurt your feelings. They could say this is not a judgment on your quality, the quality of your person or your intelligence or the quality of your work, but it doesn't just match. But sometimes it's actually because your work is badly written and it doesn't suit what they want. They don't want to publish such a thing, because of course, when people are just beginning in publishing, they could do some bad writing, but you can save yourself from that trouble by by collaborating with others who are more experienced in your field. Or I also know that many times our supervisors don't have time for us. So we may write a work and they don't even pay attention. They just say, submit it, and you keep it submitting and it keeps failing and coming back. But that's the benefit of community. You have a Sierra Leone student union in China. You should be able to, if you're participating, you will know people in your field. Just like we took time today to ask people to to write down their disciplines. If you are here, you can go through the chat history and find people in your discipline. Send the person a message, maybe a private message in this meeting, and say, I'd like to connect with you. Maybe you saw also when we were talking about people who have published papers. Some are published 6, some are published maybe 10, some are published 1, some are published 0. Why not, if there's somebody in your discipline that's published, why not send a message and say, I would like to connect with you. I would like to learn from you. I would like to, tag along. It's a blessing. Someone can say, yeah, I'm able to support this person. So, and if somebody reaches out to you to get support, please accept it with great joy and do your best, because that makes you also become stronger. And the other part of it is after review. If you have finished the review, if the review has finished and it has come back and it says accepted, it will never be rejected again except it has been published and somebody flags it as maybe having copied another person's work and the plagiarism check could not capture it, or there is a complaint from a co-author that says, I did not approve of this work or the submission of this work. So which is why it's always important before you submit a work, if you have co-authors, all the co-authors should have a look at it. Do not assume that it's just going to go well. Sometimes you could, also there are people who put other people's names in research that they did not contribute in. And later on, those people see the work and they don't like it. They will send a message to the journal and say, I don't want to be part of this work. I did not know that my name was on this work. And that can be quite embarrassing. You've wasted your time. It also gives you an academic dent because it's going to be documented as in the list of retracted papers. Papers that get retracted, there's a retraction watch. Any journal article that gets retracted gets to be documented there. So that's the case of a paper being rejected after it has been accepted. So all these things are very dangerous. Do not do it. Researchers should be people of the highest level of integrity, because researchers are the first base, the first layer of societal development. Every development in society is built on research. If the research is wrong, policies will be wrong, decisions will be wrong, and everything will go wrong. You see, people, some of us here are in international development or in policy, different policy fields, economics, and all of that. So if we keep publishing some kind of concocted data, pushing a particular kind of narrative, and your government picks it and uses it as the basis for making their decisions, then you have put the whole country in trouble. So I hope that that answers the question. Yes, let me know if there's need for further addition.
I think that is good. So we will allow questions from the participants. Is there any questions, please? This Q&A time.
Ibrahim Ahmed Kanu's
Yeah, Ibrahim, you can unmute.
Yes, thank you very much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
I'm interested in the last part of your presentation on the journal finder. Like to say, when you're done with your work, you're unable to identify a journal for publication, and you want to use the journal finder to look for a journal. You said earlier that you can copy your abstract and maybe paste it in the platform. It will come up with them possible papers, or sorry, possible journals that you can submit your paper. So I want to know, is it like ethical in a sense that your work is secured or safe in doing so? Because we have so many platforms that maybe you can submit your work, because the abstract actually is a head. It actually explains everything about your work. And most of these editors or reviewers, they are interested in your abstract because it looks at gaining attention of your work. Whether the journal will accept or reject it, they need to look at the abstract. So I don't know if it is advisable for us to be using this platform to copy and paste our abstract after we spent like maybe 3 months, 6 months to put all of those, especially for some of us that are doing experimental analysis, because I'm doing some experiment in the my research field. After I've gone through like maybe 6 months or 3 months to do my experiment, and I put my abstract together, is it advisable to do short kind of thing? Like, because no sooner you submit your abstract, let me say it's now exposed to the public. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, dear brother. So, you see, the platform belongs to a publishing house like Elsevier, and the design of the journal finder is their own internal arrangement. Of course, if a person is afraid of something, it is possible you may want to avoid doing that. But in terms of whether your work is safe, I can say to a great extent that it is safe, even though actually nothing is safe in this world. Nothing is safe in this world. But since it is a journal, it could be Nature. This is for Elsevier. Please, I hope you can see my screen. Can we see my screen?
Yes.
It's visible.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So,
yes. We can see your screen.
Excellent. So if you are afraid, you could maybe remove some things from the abstract, but I don't see any reason to be afraid. For example, in fact, in your case, like you mentioned, you do experimental work. Your data has been collected by you from your laboratory. Of course, it is possible that somebody may want to manipulate the data, but it is the usual compressed form of the abstract does not expose the full data. So it may not be a problem. However, anything you are doing and you are afraid and you don't want to do it, it is better to avoid it. And in fact, remember, like I said, it is only for those who may want to speed up a process or may have done the work without considering without considering which journal to publish in from the beginning. Those people are the ones who may consider using this. It is not like a standard recommendation that everybody should take it as a norm. However, since it is on the platform of the publisher, the publishers are actually different from the journals. Each publisher has many journals under their platform. The editors for different journals or the reviewers or the owners of journals do not have access to the back door of the publisher, like Elsevier or like Springer Nature. So I think that it is safe. I think it is safe because they don't have access to it. And moreover, if you are intending to publish in a particular journal, you're still going to submit it to them. And we have also seen scenarios where people submit their work to a particular journal and it is sent to reviewers. Reviewers will reject the work because they are doing a similar work which they want to publish first. So somebody sends the work and they don't want that person to publish before them, because if that person publishes before them, it means that the work will begin to garner citations in that field, or their own work will become irrelevant. So they will recommend rejection. Or they can even pick some information from what that person has done and propose rejection. And sometimes they could even go to the extent of contacting other researchers, to say, oh, so work has come, or contacting the journal and being so vehement about saying that they want that work rejected. So it's actually difficult to run away from that, because even if you submit it to a particular journal that is ready to publish it, they may still end up copying it and doing the work for themselves and by themselves, and you are left stranded. So basically, there's nowhere to run, and if you want to keep trying to avoid some of these things, the more you bend, you can actually become bent, because you are trying to avoid some of these things. So in summary, it is not necessarily what is always required, but I also believe that it is safe. And my reason for believing that it is safe is because the submission is not on the platform of any single journal. It is on the platform of the publisher. Elsevier, Springer Nature. These are the top two. I don't want to mention the less known ones, because we advise our people to publish in well-known journals, or with well-known publishers that will also provide good indexing that can allow bigger view or larger view within a short time. So that's the place where you copy and put your abstract. You could also search using keywords. If you don't want to use your abstract, if you're afraid of using your abstract, you could say search by keywords or aims. You could copy the aim of your research, or you could type journal title and it will bring you, you could say, I want to see journals publishing in, let's say keywords. Can you give me some keywords in the chat box? Keywords in your field. Anybody, any field? Let's do this. Okay, Science Direct. Okay, yeah, Science Direct, of course, is one of the platforms. Okay, supply chain. Okay, so supply chain. Maybe another word, another set of words. So I will copy and put it there. So I've put supply chain. Supply chain. Another word in the green logistics. Okay, so we're in logistics at this time. We're in logistics, green logistics. Resist. Okay, let's finish. Please, the one that typed Barry, let's just finish. Let's use these two for the supply chain or logistics area. And we'll say find journal. Let's click find journal. So if you find journals publishing in these areas, and you can select from there. So it allows you to also say, you can see. So these are recommendations: cleaner logistics and supply chain, management science, tier 3. This is a kind of the description of each level. So green technologies and sustainability. So these are the different ones that is showing for that field. Sustainable operations and computers. So these are the 3 recommended for that field. So you already know that this is where your work is. And now let's also use this to talk about what we're saying before. You see, Cleaner logistics and supply chain, their article processing charge, you see that APC is $1,830. The impact factor is 6.8. You can see it's a good journal. Site score is 13.0. Time to first decision is 14.57 days. Time to acceptance is 185 days. Acceptance rate, they did not include. And you see for green technologies and sustainability, of course, you can also check, you see that it is open access for the cleaner logistics, is open access. Another publisher is Emerald. Who are the publishers of this one? I think we'll see it when you click and go in. Okay, it's for CAS journal ranking is tier 3. You could visit the journal page and find other information. You could submit a paper as the case may be. For green technologies is open access, but they did not put the amount of money they are going to charge. They did not also put the impact factor. Site score is 9.76. It's also about citation. Time to first decision is 4.27 days. So there's quick decision for this one. There's 21% acceptance rate. So yeah, that's it. Let's that's it for responding to that question. Let's take more questions as the case may be.
Mr. Barry Alpha Omaro.
Okay, Mr. Barry has
a question.
Thank you very much, Doctor. This is a very important training. We are learning a lot and we appreciate. So I have a concern with regards collaboration. Let's say I've done my work in the life science research discipline, conducted my experiments, done my work, but I have a challenge in the area of probably there's not much of a novelty in the work, and there is someone who is trying to give a help and a kind of, let's say, has a methodology to be added to this work and it will become something novel. So, but he's looking for a collaboration, like, and possibly you are in a lab or maybe with a professor that is not open up to such collaborations. How will you sail through such a difficulty or challenging moment? You need to add novelty to your work to somebody who is willing to give, and then maybe your supervisor is not open to such collaboration. How do you do?
There are, we've had many of such cases. In fact, there was one we had, I think, 2 years ago. How we resolved it, because in fact, we had gathered a number of people to join one person to do a particular work. But it ended up that after doing the work, after people had finished contributing, the lady found that her supervisor was unwilling to have their names included in the publication. It was quite a problem. What we finally did was that it was recommended the lady should provide financial remuneration to the people who supported the work. So in that kind of case, if your professor is unwilling to accept collaboration, you will need to see yourself as a person, just like at the stage of data collection. There are some laboratories that don't have some equipment, and you may take your sample to another laboratory to analyze some items. Usually, the lab that does the analysis gets to be paid. You agree with me, right? Have you experienced that, or have you?
Yes. Yeah, that's the usual norm.
Correct. Yes. So you can look at it from that angle as well, because having novelty, adding novelty to a work is the bone, is the real thing, is the flesh, is the only reason for which it could be accepted for publication. So if someone is bringing such an academic contribution to a work, but your professor is unwilling to accept the input from another person, it implies that your professor is saying this work is your work and I want you to do your work. However you get it done, he doesn't care. So in that way, you may look at it like you are going to contract a particular portion of your work to someone else to provide you relevant guidance. Of course, in that case, it would imply that what you may just have to do would be to have a conversation with such a person. If the person is not willing, in OAD, we usually encourage people to provide such support without having to charge for it, without having to collect money. We do encourage people to do that. But if somebody says, my time is extremely important to me right now, and I have other things to do, I cannot give my time for free, it is also something legitimate. And in research, different components of research, like pursuit of innovation, is an important part. That if somebody says, I cannot give my time for free to help you bring innovation into this work, but not be a part of it, then what may be considered could be to offer a financial remuneration. And it is not just like using the principle. I'm speaking from this perspective. I'm speaking on these grounds. The grounds upon which I stand to make this recommendation is that, using the example of when samples are taken to other labs, payment is made. I may be correct, I may not be correct, but in every scenario, you will check what could be the best for you to do. And I'm just thinking to myself, what could be the best action to take? Or maybe somebody else in the audience may advise us or may suggest a better pathway on handling this. But this is what I think could be the possible action. Not a recommendation, but could be a possible action. If anybody else has better suggestions, please feel free to share your thoughts in this regard.
Do anyone have something to say towards that? Please signify.
And while we're waiting for some...
Also, we...
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Mansour is here.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your insightful facilitation. And my little contribution on this issue, I think for me, what I would say is prevention is better than cure. So if you want to collaborate, so far as your paper is concerned, we have two types of papers. Sometimes you could be doing your independent work, which is not part of maybe your thesis or something like that. But if perhaps your supervisor has given you a title, or what's the name, you have a topic for your thesis or for your article. Some supervisors, they take 100% control of such papers, irrespective of your contribution, because you are still under them, and sometimes you use their funding information for such articles. Therefore, they take control, even who should be the first author, who should be the corresponding author. Some supervisors are one, you should know whom your supervisor is. Is your supervisor the liberal person who doesn't care about who is added to the paper and the number of people you add to the paper? You should know your supervisor. So I think the first point is knowing your supervisor very well. If you know whom he is, and you think, oh, my supervisor is okay if I collaborate with other people. So you should do that homework first. you go ahead, you take your own decision, you go and what is the name? Collaborate with other people. Now you add their names to the paper without consulting your supervisor or your professor. Then you come back to him at the point of sending the paper for publication. He says, no, remove their names, whatever. Then by then the harm had already been caused. Yeah, but as you said, perhaps the measure you gave could be a remediation, what's the name, step. But for me, I think once you open up to the supervisor as well as the colleagues who help him or her, we help others for free, or others also help us for free. If you are finding difficult about your paper, find a brother. Oh, this is my work. Actually, I just need a help, or I need a support. Let the collaborators understand that they are just helping you to complete your work and not maybe collaborating for their names to be added. Yes. So for me, I think transparency is key in this regard. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mansour. Let me just also show, as you can still see on the screen, I put in the keywords recommended by Brother Barry, but we see that it's not bringing up any journal. Resistance gene, crop yield, no journal is brought up. So in this case, you may also decide to go check other journal finders like under Springer Nature. But anyway, yeah, let's take other questions as the moderator mentioned. So this is for Springer Nature. This is Springer Nature's journal finder. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Doc.
Oh, okay. So please, if there are other questions, we're waiting for it.
Please, if there are other questions, just signify, or you can unmute and ask your question. Doc, I think you have a question in the chat box.
Okay. I'm looking. Is OAD journal out as yet? No, not yet. Absolutely, when it's ready, our goal for that will be to use that space to make it easier. Of course, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It's going to be undergoing thorough research, but at least you can be sure that nobody's going to discriminate against you based on what your name sounds like. Yeah, so it's not out yet. We're still on it. Thank you very much for asking. Yeah, that's the response for that. And so this is the space for the Springer Nature Journal Finder. Let's check whether they have a journal that is suitable for what our brother Barry asked. Okay, that's it. Oh, it has some journals. You see that? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Oh,
Seen them.
Okay. So you see that now? It's provided, and theoretical and applied genetics, 11 days, and you can see the number of downloads showing that they are active. The impact factor 4.2 is also very good. But you see, Elsevier has no journal that was suitable. But here, these are also good journals. See, BMC, biology. There are so many journals, but Elsevier didn't provide any. Right. Okay. Yeah, moderator, Brother John.
We still have 15 minutes. And I don't know, do we have any question? Is there any more question? We can accept one more question if there is any.
Okay.
Does anyone have a question? Okay. And while I'm trying to round up, if I venture someone have a question, just feel free to stop me. But we're gonna entertain one question at this point in time. And as you have come to this junction again, I want to use this opportunity to first thank Dr. Ode for this wonderful training. I feel whatever we have learned here will be very impactful in our various research endeavors. And also, I would like to thank each and every one of you that have joined us. And we are especially happy to have host not just the Sierra Leonean student community in China, but also those of our friends, our brothers and sisters from other countries. And once again, this training is being organized by the Sierra Leone Students Union in China, and I'm happy to have host and facilitate this training. It was a 2 day training. We started yesterday with Dr. Mansur, and Dr. Mansur also is here with us today. We also want to say thank you to Dr. Mansur for his impactful training yesterday. And more training like this will be coming up, and just after the holiday, and we will love to have you guys and to always join us whenever these trainings are coming up. And we also will look forward for the opportunity to collaborate further with an OAD in subsequent training. And especially some suggestions have been noted down in line with training perhaps on referencing tools like the maybe Mendeley or Zotero. And those are things that have been taken into consideration. The leadership will discuss it and will find a perfect avenue to have those training. And one other training also we are strongly looking forward to, probably just after the holidays, a 5 days online training on data analysis. So we want the community to prepare themselves for those training, and as plans are on that way and very soon it will be able to be actualized. And at this point in time, I would also love to welcome Dr. Ode once more to give us a final statement since we have no questions at this time. Dr. Ode, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much once again, Brother John, and thanks to everyone, my neighbors. I'm really excited we've come to the end of today's meeting, and want to also mention, if you are, if you're doing a master's or a PhD, and you are still having difficulties maybe collaborating or finding people to work with, you may consider being part of the Global Organization of African Academic Doctors, OAD, which can help you, find people you can work with. And also, we've been doing things of this nature for people from different countries. And our hope, our strong aspiration is to see the whole of the African continent work together, grow together, achieve great results together, just like people from other places are doing. And we look forward to seeing your papers popping up online, great, achievements from our community here. So it's my joy once again. And if you would want, some people already connected with me yesterday, but if if you didn't have an opportunity to link up yesterday, today is another opportunity. And I'm just typing this is my WeChat ID, which you can use. Is linking up for growth. And that's exactly what it is. We are linking up for growth to advance one another's progress. And I'm happy to have had the opportunity to share my thoughts with us today. Thanks again to the leadership and looking forward to further engagements. All the best.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ode. So at this point, I will encourage you all to send in your thank you message in the chat box. And just after we close off, you can also unmute. So say thank you to Dr. Ode for this wonderful training. And I also shared the email address of our union. We actually took down names of people that participated in this particular training. One of issue out a certificate of participation, but if for any reason you might not receive one, you can reach us, because I don't think everyone sent in their email address. And so please let's unmute and we can say thank you to Dr. Ode. Dr. Ode, once again, thank you very much.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Doctor. May God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Allah bless you.
Thank you. Grateful.
There is an erudite communicator.
Thank you.
He's always on top of the game. Thank you very much, Prezo.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep pushing.
The most efficient Prezo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashadu. Grateful.
Okay, so ending now on the Zoom. So bye-bye, and we'll make the videos available possible through different channels, the OAD channel and also the